Good afternoon, Easton. Today is October 21st, 2015. I am Carrie Rapullo, and this is the Shoveltown Scoop, Easton's news program brought to you by ECAT. We're going to kick off today's scoop with the latest from Town Hall. Last week, Easton saw many meetings on the Town Hall agenda. On Wednesday the 14th, the Budget Subcommittee meeting took place where they discussed school and town funding priorities and a review of the proposed fund balance. Dr. Keogh discussed the importance of full-day kindergarten versus half-day kindergarten after a question from Selectman Carol Nessler was presented to the committee. According to Nessler, a teacher in our community reached out to the Board of Selectmen previously and asked why full-day kindergarten would be considered in the override when out of 239 students, only 37 are not in full-day kindergarten. Town Administrator David Colton then presented a question about those 37 kids who are not receiving full-day curriculum by asking how they measure up against the kids who are in full-day kindergarten. Dr. Keogh did respond with his concern that those kids who are not receiving full-day curriculum are the ones that can face an achievement gap from the pre-K to second grade. He believes that early literacy and early numeracy is what is at utmost importance when it comes to early childhood education. Also on the 14th was the Planning and Zoning Board meeting and Finance meeting where they discussed the draft of the warrant articles. To watch all of those meetings from October 14th, you can head over to our website, which is eastoncat.org, and you can easily find the links to each one of those meetings on our page. They are listed out accordingly. On October 15th, the Board of Selectmen held a meeting with a very full agenda. The Chief of the Fire Department, Kevin Partridge, was on hand to promote Evan Malone, who was sworn into captain, and John DiZallo to lieutenant. The Fire Chief also presented a new app at the Board of Selectmen meeting that you can download from either the App Store or Google Play for your smartphones. We have a slide here. It is called Ping for Alerts, and it allows citizens to receive alerts to their phones that may also pertain to things such as street closings, natural disasters, and preparations for potential risks when there are weather advisories. The app is free, and again, you can get them at Google Play or at the App Store. Also on hand that night at the Board of Selectmen meeting was Chief of Police Gary Sullivan, who was on hand to promote Carolyn Gurney, who was the first female police officer to join the ranks of sergeant to the Easton Police Department. Here's a video of that.
Good evening. I'd like to introduce our newest sergeant, Carolyn Gurney. She has been a police officer in Easton for the past 17 years. She has served as our domestic violence officer. And up until recently, this past week, she has served as the school resource officer at the Southeastern Regional Vocational Technical High School. And she's achieved much success in that position as well. In addition to that, Callie is the first female in the history of the Easton Police Department to attain the rank of sergeant. So we are very proud of her, and she should be as well.
So also on hand at the meeting were Planning and Zoning Board members Gary Anderson and Gregory Strange, who discussed the warrant article regarding to the village business zoning area and about giving some flexibility to property owners. Here is a video of that presentation.
The purpose here is to encourage business development downtown. Again, make the lots so that they conform, so that if people want to change their property to a moderate degree, they can do so in order to encourage business activity, and also to reflect and protect the historic downtown context. So downtown is different than every other area of town. It developed well before zoning, but we feel like it's important to reflect that and to make sure that that character continues. There is the Ames Local Historic District there, which is helpful, but again, the zoning is sort of mismatched for what's there.
Okay, so also from the Board of Selectmen meeting, a discussion on Article 11, which is regarding funds that are dedicated from the Community Preservation Committee, which will be giving Southeastern a new playground located at 74 Pine Street. The funds of just about $192,000 are to be allocated to the CPC, which is going to add a play structure, a T-ball area, and for landscaping improvements, just to name a few. There's also some money coming from in the Alleys Park Fund and volunteers from the community to help build this playground to be dedicated to the memory of Allie Hamilton. Here's a video of Meredith Keach, who was on the CPC committee and the Recreation Department discussing those details.
It's actually a large parcel of land. There's still a basketball court there. Certainly, there's a beautiful swing set there, but the goal is to add a play structure, like we have in other parts of the community, to bring back the t-ball field, add fencing. There's a lot of safety that needs to be added, guardrails with additional parking. I think there's about 16 spaces. I did bring the site plan. I'm not sure what you have included in yours. Fencing on the back, the perimeter, also around the t-ball fields. We'll add some benches, some bleachers for parents to be able to sit at, and a pavilion, which when we walked with Steve through the property, the rec board, we suggested that maybe we do a little bit larger of a pavilion in the event that you'd like to have a couple picnic tables in there, add a water fountain, and some electricity out there.
All right, so you can vote on that at the upcoming special town meeting on November 16th if you want to dedicate that money to the CPC. All right, so speaking of, applications are now being accepted until November 4th for next year's round of funding. Applications and guidelines are located at the town website, which is easton.ma.us. Okay, so back to the Board of Selectmen meeting. There are two articles discussed, 17 and 18, about being redundant on the town warrant articles prepared for the town meeting. This is Dan Smith and David Colton discussing those two articles.
If I could just skip to that for a second. The way that it's written, it's appropriate for town meeting floor. There's no reason that there's a technical reason why it could be thrown out of consideration, because the only reason I ask is that just from a business standpoint, I'm still struggling with having two articles that are intended for the same public purpose to be put up at the same time. It's either going to pass or it's not. So to have two articles on the table, one that's being, driven by a citizen's petition, one that's, being considered by the board as well, to have those simultaneously just doesn't make business sense to me. It's either going to pass or it's not, and if there aren't mechanisms that are flaws within Article 18.
Right. I've talked with town council about it. There are no fatal flaws, is what I think you're asking.
Yes.
It could be voted exactly the way it's written, and it would be a legal article, and we would have to act on it. Although a citizen's petition cannot be changed by the selectmen before it goes in the warrant, it can be changed, amended by town meeting, subject to the judgment of the moderator that the amendment is within the scope of the intent of the article, just like any other article. Mm-hmm. Any article that's in here, if somebody wanted to make a motion to amend, it's up to the moderator to allow that motion if he thinks it's within the scope of the article.
All right. Also, the Board of Selectmen will be holding two more public forums where the proposed charter will be presented to the public. Members of the Special Act Charter Committee will be there to provide any answers to your questions. The remaining dates are listed here. They will be held November 7th and December 2nd. Okay, so let's move on to some school news. Tomorrow evening, October 22nd, Superintendent Dr. Keogh is hosting a parent coffee at the Easton Middle School at 7 p.m., and he will be leading a discussion on the current financial state of the schools. You can always check out the latest school information on their new website, which is easton.k12.ma.us, and you can /trending now for the most up-to-date information. And as for school sport information, you can head over to hockomocksports.com for the latest in league standings, schedules, statistics, and player highlights. I know that all of our Ames teams are doing well in our Davenport League. I believe boys and girls soccer are performing really well, so you can go check that out. Also, the Recreation Department has announced their basketball clinic for boys and girls ages pre-K through the 8th grade. These will be held at Oliver Ames High School Gym. It's $75 per session. There are 2 sessions available. You can get more information on the dates at the town website, easton.ma.us. All right, so as a reminder, there is a seasonal flu clinic here for the residents of Easton. The dates are as follows: Thursday, October 29th, Saturday the 14th, of November, and Monday, November 16th. The injectable vaccine is available for individuals 3 years of age or older. And a reminder that the DPW is still conducting their annual fall fire hydrant flushing until roughly the end of October. If you have any questions, you can call them over there at 508-230-0850. All right, so let's take a look at our weekend. We have a ton of Halloween-themed events taking place over the next few days and into the weekend. The Governor Ames Estate, which is right here on Oliver Street, is hosting a pumpkin carving tomorrow night and then a haunted Halloween party on Friday. You can see the details listed there. The pumpkin carving is free. However, the Halloween party will be $20 for members and $30 for non-members. And then we have Saturday, the Children's Museum is hosting a Halloween romp and monster mash. You can get details at their website. And then on Sunday, the popular Parade of the Horribles is slated to begin around 4:30 in front of the Barrow Street Gym. The YMCA will be open to members and non-members with a bouncy house, craft making, snacks, and live performances for a small fee. So go ahead and dress up your kids. Let them walk the parade route, which will be down Barrow Street. Heading on over today, down across Frothingham Park, and then looping back around to Barrow Street. If you live on the parade route, you can go ahead and feel free to hand out candy to the children. And also the Easton Food Pantry will be on hand to collect donations to help stock their facility for the upcoming season. So go ahead and bring some non-perishable items to donate to the Easton Food Pantry. Okay, so save the date for November 7th for the Shoveltown Music Festival, which is going to be held at the VFW on Rockland Street. Proceeds from that will be donated to the Easton Wings of Hope and the Wounded Warrior Project. Also, November 14th is the Children's Museum fundraiser, Night of Comedy at the Oaks Ames Hall. And, of course, November 20th is the annual Fee Volleyball Tournament. Again, their websites are listed here if you need more information. Okay. So you can also see at the top of our screen there are events taking place daily at the Ames Free Library and the Children's Museum. You can visit their websites for the most up-to-date information on dates and times. And that should do it for this week's Shoveltown Scoop. We will see you again next week. Have a good one.